Good morning.
Good morning.
It's been hard to wake up today, which it really isn't usually.
Yeah, no. Weird
But
morning. But anyway,
that's
we're
right. We're
here.
here. Oh, first of the day, 6 a.m., but later this morning. Okay. Potentially, like, always relevant, but maybe not relevant to this. But in 1 Peter 3:9, it says, "Do not repay evil with evil or insult with insult. On the contrary, repay evil with blessing, because to this you were called so that you may inherit a blessing." There you go. It's not an eye for an eye when you're a Christian.
No.
Anyway, ironically, since we're starting the episode talking about how we're like struggling to wake up, this episode is actually about how we've both been feeling in a bit of a rut.
Mm.
And it's kind of stemmed from, well, like, I feel like I can speak for both of us. It stemmed from the holiday season, which was great.
Well, I feel like mine stemmed from pre-Christmas being so busy
Yeah,
at the
okay,
end
true.
of last
True.
year that I was like, I need a break. I can't handle this.
Yeah, you did.
And then the holidays with Blake being home for a month, and then now.
Yeah, fair. I feel like maybe then we go back and talk about the busyness that was, I feel like we
Yeah.
can say last year.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't live together and actually do life every single day together, but we live life very closely. And we see each other a lot.
Yeah.
But last year, like for both of us, was really busy. I would definitely say busier for Rach. Mine was a lot of busyness by choice every single day. Like I'd often say if someone asked to do something with me, I'd be like, yeah, I've got no plans. Like I didn't often, your weeks would be booked up. My days would just be
Yeah.
booked up in the day.
Yeah.
Someone would
I
ask to
would.
do something, yeah, I'll do it. And so my day would be like boom, 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 boom. Like we do this activity, then see this person, then this person, then this person. And then I'd get home at 4:30 and be so tired. And then
Yeah.
be starting dinner. And then Charlie would be like exhausted. Fair enough, because same. And then, like it would just not flow.
Yeah, the other thing as well is I feel like my days were busy, but a lot of it fell on evenings for me. So then it was
True.
like I was busy in the day and then dinner, kids, bed. If I was going out for something, I was going out for that.
Yeah,
The
true.
nights that we weren't going out, we were doing a lot of paperwork for Blake's business. Um, and so just like every evening was absolutely packed, and I felt like I had no time. Like over the holidays, we sat down and watched TV for literally the first time, and I could not tell you how long. We
Yeah, that's
actually
nuts.
got through some episodes, and in the evenings, and I was like, wow, this is so nice to actually just watch one episode a night, which it was
That's kind of
literally just not
concerning.
possible. Yeah.
Which, can I also say though, amazing that you still, like over the last 6 months, have had such like a transformation with like reading the Bible. And even though throughout all of that busyness, you still,
Yeah, and
that's
that's
wild
funny
to
because
me.
I would have previously said, "Oh, I struggle. I don't have time to read the Bible. Like I'm
Mm.
so busy." The reality is if you're making time to read the Bible, then God will make everything else work in your day.
Yeah, yeah.
So end of last year, actually not even end of, like halfway through last year, when I started reading the Bible, I was getting up at like 5:30 to read
Mm.
it. And I honestly just figured I was tired from having a baby, wake up multiple times in the night anyway. What was the difference going to make? And that was kind of the only time that I could like fit it into my day.
Mm.
Um, and people that aren't Christian might think so, this is ridiculous, but I'd literally lie in bed at night and pray and be like, God, give me the energy so that when my alarm goes off in the morning or when Percy wakes up at 5 a.m., that I just have no desire to go back to bed. Every single time it worked without fail. It shouldn't shock me.
Why didn't we do this last night?
But, well, I actually did. And then,
Okay. I didn't.
yeah, anyway. The tiredness wasn't an issue. Well, anyway. But, like, I would... And so then I got into the habit of getting up early and reading the Bible. And I really think giving those first moments in your day to God, uh, like that changed my whole attitude for the day. I was a completely
Mm.
different person. The days where I didn't do that, it was very noticeable that well, to me anyway, that I hadn't. And then when I didn't get up early and read, then I'd try and squeeze it in throughout the day, get a little bit here and there, get interrupted, be kind of grumpy about it. Just didn't absorb it, didn't have the same like quiet time with.
And sorry, you
No.
finished there. I also think because I was doing the same thing as Rach, like getting up at 5:30 in the morning. We started at the exact same time, really. Yeah, I remember
Yes,
saying to
because you were
you
like,
like,
I want to do it, and
and
I
you were
was
like,
like,
"Hey, I'm
I'll
tired,"
do
and
it
you were,
with
"I'd do
you.
it too." And we wouldn't message the whole time, but we'd actually at first we'd message at 5:30 and be like, "Hi," and
Yes,
then you'd
true.
be like, "Hi," and I'd be like, "Bye." We just knew each other was doing the same thing, which was kind of
Yeah,
encouraging.
yeah,
But I thought at the start of that, like, oh, this is really nice for me. And don't get me wrong, it is nice for me. But I was like, oh, this is nice for me because I'm getting alone time in the morning. I'm getting up early,
yeah.
but now it's
Same
like, no,
actually.
like I'm getting that time with God in the morning. Like He's helping me
Yeah,
in the morning. It's not like, oh, that's so nice for me. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
yeah,
Yeah. Um, so coming now to now and talking about how we're in a rut.
yeah,
I guess it's come from like you had that month off with Blake. I had 3 weeks with Nath, and like that was great. Loved that.
yeah,
But then I got so out of routine. Like
yeah,
as I said, I wasn't as busy as Rach, but our days were so busy, and I really felt like going into a new year, I was like, no, I just feel like I'm being called to like slow down,
yeah. Same.
which you felt the same, and so we've done less socially together. I'd say.
Yeah,
We saw each other like in the holidays. To be completely honest, I didn't really see anyone, any friends, I don't think, apart from you, if we did
I
like
barely
family
saw
stuff
anyone.
together.
Yeah,
And then I
but
did
also I
see my
loved.
family a bit.
Yeah, I loved over the holidays having, like, it was always just last minute. And
Yeah, we never
actually,
had any.
funnily enough,
Yeah.
a lot of the time it was Blake, but like would text Nathan and be like, "Do
Yeah.
you want to come to the pools?" And then we'd
We'd go
tag
to the
along,
pools. Yeah,
obviously,
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, it was things
Um,
like that, which was nice.
yeah, it was so
And
nice.
I do like not having plans. I don't know what that is about me. I love a
Um,
last minute thing where I
yeah,
can decide depending on my mood. Is that bad? Maybe it is.
I don't
I
know.
don't know. Think about that one. But yeah, anyway, so we have then come out of that. It's now February. Crazy. Um, and Rach messaged me last week and she was like, I actually don't know if this slowing down is good for me now because I feel like I'm just getting a bit lazy. And when she said that, I feel like it's kind of like a light bulb moment for me. And I was like analyzing what we'd been up to and how I was feeling too. And I was like, actually, same. I didn't even say it at the start. I was just like, oh, true. And then I felt convicted when you said it. And then I
That's
was
so
like, oh my
funny.
gosh, that's actually how it is. Because just to ramble things off, I just wrote a few points down and I'm weirdly tired this morning and I shouldn't be, but I am. So I just read what I wrote at like 11 p.m. last night. Well, that's probably why I'm tired. Anyway, um, what I've been doing, more TV use. Look, and by the way, I'm not calling any other mum out. This is just
No.
purely how I want to parent, and I just haven't been parenting how I want to, basically.
Mm.
Charlie has decided in the last couple of weeks that he likes watching TV, and before that, he just wouldn't stop to watch TV. He'd just find it boring.
Mm.
I'd come around here, and sometimes Rach and I would just really want to just talk.
Yeah, I'd be
And
like, "What do you want to watch, Charlie?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
okay, lawn mowers on TV, and then you put it on, and you just run off.
Yeah, didn't care.
Um, anyway, he's decided he likes it, and he's just like, "Mummy, I just want to cuddle you on the couch and watch TV." And like
Cute,
the fact that he
but
wants to cuddle me as well, I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
because
because
he's
he.
not a cuddly kid.
Well, now
Well,
he is, but
he's
yeah, he
getting old.
wasn't.
That's funny about this is so unrelated, but funny because Navy was the same.
Yeah,
Younger, hated cuddles, and then now is like way more into it.
yeah,
Funny how
they're
that
quite
changed.
similar
Yeah.
in lots of ways, Navy and Charlie, and because I feel like we haven't really talked about our kids
No,
at all. I
really.
won't go on about them, but not that they're not worthy of going on about.
Unrelated.
Yeah, but they were very alike as babies.
Yeah,
And
very go go go. Charlie more so, but
yeah.
um,
Well, there was a time though when Navy was so active.
I feel like, actually, to be honest, I feel like Navy was equal, or yeah, at least equal to the go-go-go-ness of Charlie, but it was a shorter period.
Yeah.
And then she just kind of, by the time she was 2,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
before she was 2, but like I really noticed it at her second birthday. I was like, wow, you are so much more chill.
Yeah. And that's not in a like, you're so much more chill now, like, thank God. It's just
No,
literally an observation because we do not speak death over
no.
kids.
But to be honest, it did take me off guard. Like when she started crawling, I was like, what is going on? Like,
Yeah.
I actually struggled with that, which sounds ridiculous because, like, of course, your baby's going to crawl and walk, but she went from being such like a very relaxed baby. She
Yeah.
was, in hindsight, she was always flapping her arms and legs, always.
Same
So
as Charlie.
it should have been a sign, but
they were like little self-settle angels.
yeah, like,
and we don't think it's anything we did, but
no,
they just
because
literally, you put white noise on and boom, just like
slept
instantly lie there
amazing,
full
put
of
herself
sleep.
into a
From
schedule that she wanted.
birth.
Yeah, put herself into her own schedule that she wanted. Like,
Same with Charlie.
she was easy to parent, really.
Yeah.
And then she started moving, and she was so quick, and she had these little pincer fingers, and she
picked everything up.
everything up,
A
like
speck of dust.
literally the tiniest. I went to the osteo one day, and I put her on the ground. She beelined across the room and made it to the doorway and picked up like a piece of gravel off the road that had come off someone's shoe. She like spotted it from like 2 meters away and then
Instantly in her mouth.
in her mouth. It was ridiculous. Anyway, but so, and then when she started walking, then she was just like go, and just like no attention span for anything, like one toy to the next, to the next, to the next.
I remember when she started kindy, they actually said to you that they hadn't seen anything.
No,
which in hindsight was maybe a little bit daunting, but we just didn't really think about it.
But I think they actually loved how, like, she had so much personality from such a young age.
Yeah.
And I think they actually really loved that because she would like, she'd have this little Sims language and she'd sit there.
That's right. Oh my gosh.
And
like
she'd just talk and talk and talk. Yeah.
So
and
cute.
no idea what she was saying. But one of the kindy teachers was like, one day when I picked her up, she'd sat with her by the sandpit for like an hour talking to her. She's like, I have no idea what she was saying, but like it was, she knew what I was saying.
Yeah, that's
probably.
right. They'd said that they'd never seen anything like it in the sense that she just like moved from activity to activity to activity, boom, 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 and she just couldn't concentrate on any of them.
No.
And they didn't say it in a mean way. It was just like a fact. And I was like, yeah, she's really go, go, go.
Yeah.
And then Charlie. And then he was the same.
But his was longer, I reckon. Now,
like the stage of because I feel like even now he is just a really active kid, but yeah, he'll have times now where he just wants to sit and watch TV, which is, I guess, coming back to that, is like no, I loved it. I just mean like, yeah, he wants to watch TV now. So do you know how tempting it is to sit there when I'm just like not in the mood for getting up and doing lots, which is kind of new for me. Like I was always wanting to do stuff. But in the morning now, like if he just wants to sit, you wouldn't have caught us just staying home for the whole morning last year. We just didn't. I probably did it like 3 times. If it happened, I'd probably like voice message Rach, oh my gosh, we didn't even go out this morning, which you might think's wild. I don't know if that's, I don't think it's normal. But now he's like, no, mummy, I just want to cuddle you and watch lawnmowers on TV. And I'm like, I want to cuddle you too. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, get up. Obviously that's fine, but in moderation for me. Like it doesn't make me feel good when we just sit there.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to, right? Everyone's got,
because what's our favourite quote that we say to each other all the time?
If it's not a problem for you, it's not a problem.
No. And so this is that applies to all of this.
Yeah.
And Rach and I, that's like our favourite motherhood quote. We could definitely do a podcast on motherhood. But yeah, anyway, we'll park that there. But yeah, more TV use and less intentional with it. I've just been kind of lazy. He's like, I want to watch that thing. And we've watched way too much YouTube. I'm really wanting us to get off YouTube. Although then there are some like wholesome things that he likes to watch. Like he doesn't like cartoons. We can also do an episode on, I was going to say social media, but I feel like we should do it on like screens in general. Side note, but not really a side note. Handyman Hal and Bricky Brick are two of his favourite people to watch, and I don't mind him watching their stuff because they're real people that do real things like biking, fixing a bike, building something, going somewhere cool and showcasing it, like doing golf or something. And I looked them up because I was like, I just want to know more about these people that he really likes watching. And there's something different about them, and they're Christians, both of them. Handyman Hal is a youth pastor in America, and Bricky Brick is a Christian woman who also shares a lot about God on her social media, which I thought was cool because just the way they talk is different. They're like, I don't know, I could just tell.
Love that, because we are called to be set apart, so it's funny that you're...
Yeah. The way that they're always speaking so like
Yeah.
life-giving and like positively, and you can see Jesus in them. So I love that.
Love
So I
that.
don't care him watching that. Obviously not all day, but like when he's starting to want to watch, this sounds so bad, but like little YouTube kids that are like, something's at my door. And then they go and look and it's a new motorbike on their doorstep. And he's like, a new motorbike. Like, thinks that's so cool. But then I'm like watching it and I'm like, literally, am I just like sitting my kid here in the name of resting for me, which is turning into me being lazy? And he's just like gonna become envious of like this kid with this.
All these things.
So coveting is being envious. And in the Bible it says do not covet, like do not be envious. Like basically stay in your lane, like focus on your own life and the fact that like your life has a path and there is like the Lord's will for your life. Don't be looking at everyone else's, which social media is such a coveting tool. We can talk about that as well. But anyway, I'm like, do I want to be encouraging my kid to like be, and you might think it's not that deep. But to me, it is. And I don't want him sitting there becoming like learning to just become envious of like, oh, these kids get these things all the time. Like, I don't want him to be greedy. Like, I am not materialistic and I don't want him to be. Not saying I'm perfect in every other way, but for me personally, I don't place a lot of value in stuff. So I can't just be blind to the fact that a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And I don't want him to be like that. Anyway, I've written as well. So lying around in the name of resting. Rest is important, but not being lazy. Not socializing much at all, which honestly has its pros. Not in the sense that I don't love everyone in my life still, but we'll get to that. You want to talk about that a bit too. And just feeling in a rut. So those are what I've been doing. And I've written some points of getting out of my rut, but I feel like you should talk about yours too.
Okay. I will go back to early last year when we were at a mentoring group. I'm not sure if we've talked about it, but with an older couple from church. And he went around the room and prophesied, and he spoke a prophetic word that, to be honest, just kind of confused me. And I wouldn't say offended me, but I was like, nah, that's off. But it wasn't. And I didn't really get it. Anyway, basically he said like, you need to stop striving. And I was like, I'm not though. But then anyway, and so I just kind of parked that. And then over the holidays when Blake was home, I really just had to let go of the desire to have my house tidy the majority of the time. And so I really feel like I was freed from that. I used to have such, like, my eye would twitch if there was a dish on the bench to make it into the dishwasher at night. I didn't mind it being messy throughout the day and like the navy and obviously like playing with stuff. It's not, but I always, like, when that was done, I wanted it tidy. And then while Blake was home over the holidays, it was just literally impossible, and I was starting to find myself getting grumpy. And then I feel like it was a gentle nudge from God to be like, it doesn't matter.
Stop striving
It's
to have everything
all
so
good. Like, you're not going to keep the house perfectly tidy. It doesn't need to be. So like, just leave it. It's fine. And that was amazing because I, by the end of the holidays, was like, just two dishes on the bench, whatever. I don't
Mm.
care. Like, it doesn't mean that my house is a mess all the time, but we live there. There will be some mess. Like, it is a lived-in house, and I wasn't striving to keep my home that way for other people.
Nah.
I couldn't have cared less about others, or what. It wasn't like I wanted everyone else to think that my house was tidy. It was just like that was how I wanted it.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, and so I re-listened to the prophetic word yesterday or the day before, and I realized that it really was, I was striving for all these other things in my life, keeping the house clean, whatever it was, even with work, striving in worldly things, really. But I wasn't striving to read the word. I wasn't striving to deepen my relationship with God. It was all worldly. And I would have, and then also kind of leads into, I was so busy that actually, when you were talking about how we got up early to start reading the Bible, and you were like, at first it was for you. At first it was for me so I could get the washing done and the dishwasher emptied before everyone woke up. That was like my main reason.
True. That's how it actually started.
That's how it started. I would get up at like 5. I would fold the washing, which actually, to be fair, is quite a practical way of doing it because it takes about 10 minutes when you don't have children climbing all over it. But that was my purpose, was to empty the dishwasher and do the washing, and then I started reading the Bible. And then I also thought, like, I love the alone time in the morning. But obviously throughout that process, at some point it shifted from that to just reading the Bible, and that I wanted that time with God rather than with myself. But I hadn't really had that light bulb moment until you said that just then.
Funny, neither. I didn't think that. I didn't plan to say that until I was like, actually, it was about me first.
Yeah, but then over the holidays, it was amazing, and I really let go of so much. Well, I was just freed from my wanting my house clean constantly. And then Blake went back to work, and then I was like, I really feel like I'm called to slow down. Last year was so busy. The holidays were amazing, like not going out all the time and not doing all these things. And then I had like a week or two of slow, and I literally just became lazy.
Isn't it funny how you can feel called to do something and then it can still be turned and like from a good thing to a not good thing?
Yeah. And it was like
That's not God's
well-meaning,
fault.
and I spent a lot of time reading the Bible, so it wasn't
wasted.
But I was using that almost as like an excuse to not do other stuff. Like, I just had no desire to vacuum, to do the washing, to do stuff that does need to be done. Really, like, not in the same way I was last year, but like there were jobs to do, and I had no desire to do them. I just wanted to sit on the couch and read the Bible or watch TV.
Yeah.
And then I was going for a run yesterday, and I had the revelation where, well, actually, we'd both talked about this week. We wanted to get back into routine a bit more and start focusing on like trying to get out of the rut.
Yeah, so when we decided to do this episode, it was, I think, the end of last week maybe, and we were like, should we just talk about where we're at? So now I already feel like we're kind of coming out of it.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Because when we were going to talk about it, we were just going to talk about what we were battling with, but now we're like seeing the light. So
yeah.
And when you were running yesterday?
Yeah, so when I was running yesterday, I had kind of the revelation that God didn't want me to slow down to the point where I wasn't doing anything and just sitting at home all day. What he wanted from me was to have some alone time with him. Like, one thing I noticed over the holidays is there were kind of for the first time in months and months, I was actually able to go out alone. Like, Blake could have Percy, he was feeding less. And at first I really resisted that. Like, I said I wanted to, and then when he would make it happen and be like, okay, you can go, I'd be like, oh, like, and it felt weird to go somewhere alone.
Yeah.
And then, and I wouldn't say I was anxious about it, but like almost, like it just, I was like, oh, I don't
Interesting.
really want to do, like, it was like something in me that was like, oh, I don't really want to do that. Anyway, did it, and then by the end of the holidays, I really enjoyed it. And then when I was going for my run yesterday, it was like God said to me, like, you can still do activities, you can still go out and go for a walk, go for a run, whatever it is, but you don't have to do everything with someone else constantly. And that's what I was doing. I was filling my days, but with other people. And I feel like now he's like, you can fill your days, but don't fill them with other people constantly.
Yeah,
Because
interesting.
when you're alone, you like, if I'm going for a walk alone, then I can pray, I can talk to him. If I'm going with you, I'm talking to you. I'm
Yeah.
not that I'm not thinking about him when I talk about things, but like,
No,
you're
it's so
not,
true.
it's not the same. And so I
Yeah.
think that was a real light bulb. It's like he wanted me to slow down from my social life, basically, not from my activities that I was doing.
Funny you say that, because yesterday I was like, nah, we're having a good day today, Charlie and I. Like, I'm not just sitting in front of the TV with him. Like, we're not doing this. Another thing that I was doing so much was scrolling on my phone, and I didn't mention that. That was
because when you're sitting on the couch, it's easy to just like,
yeah. And then I was like, okay, I'm not going to scroll. So then what did I do? Downloaded Scrabble. Would play Scrabble all
and
the
you're
time.
just replacing it with
it. And I read this devotional yesterday, and it was talking about how it was saying social media, but I think cell phones in general are such a time thief. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like it's a fact that when you're on it, you're not monitoring your time.
No, yeah.
You lose track of time, and like how many posts you read, how many things you do, like you're just like,
well, it's not like quantifiable, where it's like a book, you're like, wow, I read 200 pages.
Yeah, for sure. And so anyway, you saying, oh, about how yesterday was a better day, sorry. I got up with Charlie. No, I got up well before that, actually. And then when he woke up, got him ready for the day, and then we actually just went out. We went and walked the bridges, and then went to the dog park where he scooters around it, and we went around there a few times. And then by the time we got home, it was already nearly nap time, but we'd actually done stuff.
Yeah.
And it wasn't with anyone else.
Yeah.
But we'd done things. And so then already I was like, okay, like, we didn't just waste time this morning. You know, it still felt slow.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't a lot taken from me. You know,
like,
when
you're not rushing to get there to meet someone at a certain time, you're just going when you want to go.
And just chatting with him the whole time. And it was so nice. And then after his nap, Aroha messaged me and was like, do you want to go to Kauai Park? And like, I'm going to take Kobe in the water. And I was like, yeah, I do. And then we did that. That was great. And then went to grandma's, because I do go to my grandma's like every single day. Yeah. When I'm not socializing with everyone, I still am always socializing with grandma, but that only gives, it doesn't take anything from me, you know. Yeah. Not that it does from you, but you know what I mean? Like, I just sit there and I just chill, and we just, it's just different with grandma. Anyway, by the time we got home, I just made dinner, and he watched a little bit of TV, but I was monitoring it. And I barely scrolled. I just felt so much better. And so I feel like that, yeah, I think that actually the same for me is like, I don't need to slow down and do nothing, like, as in sit there and waste time at home. We can still do our activities, but just slow down in the sense that, like, it's not booked up with people constantly.
Yeah. Also, I probably should have read this when I was talking about the striving. And it's funny because when I read this months ago for the first time, I actually remember reading it and not really understanding it. I was looking up scripture in terms of like slowing down and busyness. And then I came across this and I reread it, and I was like, it's funny how sometimes God reveals things in his word later on. Like, you can read something and be like, just over your head, but then when like he's ready for you to receive it, he'll open your eyes. Anyway, it's about Martha and Mary. And so it's in Luke. As Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She
Mm.
came to him and asked, Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me. Martha, Martha, the Lord answered, you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was me. Just worried and upset. That's probably a bit dramatic. I wasn't crying over it, but I was just
You weren't really crying over anything.
No, I wasn't really crying.
It wasn't a cry of acne.
No. But I was like Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. I was just constantly distracted by the things that had to be done in my house. But then Mary sat at the Lord's feet, and it was like just a light bulb moment where I was like, I need to be sitting at the Lord's feet more than I am preparing my house, because who cares?
That's so good.
Yeah.
I was reading a few little devotionals last night, and funnily enough, I've just clicked on because I couldn't remember which day it was that I was looking for in this devotional, but the guy starts off with saying, every morning I get up at 5 a.m., make coffee, and sit with the Lord. It's the one practice that has shaped my spiritual life, mental health, and emotional wellness more than anything. Anyway, that's actually not the one that I was going for. I wanted to share a scripture too, which is in Lamentations, and it is, because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. But also a different translation of that is, God's mercies are new every morning. And so we can, this one's really good, put aside the shame of yesterday. And I'm not saying we feel so shameful about how we were, our rut or anything like that.
No.
But what is true is that it's easy to wake up with the shame of yesterday still weighing heavily on you. It'd be easy for us to be like, oh, I'm just in this rut and this is where I'm at and I can't like get out of it. But the Bible says, and we know it to be true, that we can literally just be like, okay, I'm putting that aside. Like, I'm not in that rut anymore. Like, help me walk in how you want me to walk, basically. And it talks about, we are creatures who love to replay past mistakes in our mind and carry them around like chains. There's a phenomenon known as the fresh start effect. It's when we are more motivated to take action after we feel like the slate has been wiped clean for us. This is why New Year's resolutions are a thing. Temporal landmarks such as a new year, a birthday, an anniversary, or even a Monday gives us a sense that we can start over. This clean slate motivates us to start action. The reason why the fresh start effect works is because it allows us to separate ourselves from our past mistakes. Too often people let themselves move forward when don't let themselves move forward when they make past mistakes. A temporal landmark helps us separate from those mistakes. Here's the thing though, the gospel has given us the ultimate fresh start, and the Bible tells us that the Lord's mercies are new each morning. So we can practice a fresh start each morning. So I feel like for us, we're like, okay, that's us right now. We're walking in that because we're like, no, we're out of that rut.
Yeah.
And I've written like a little list of the things that I want to do every day, which back to waking up really early in the morning, reading the word, and then I can do the things like the dishes. I'm more productive in the morning. I will do the dishes in the morning from the night before, and my house will be tidy in the morning, and I will have started the day with God. My house will be all good to go, and then I'll just have a clear perspective for the day. Limiting my own phone use, which I think we're going to do an episode on that because I have a lot to say.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're not going to fit it into this one. Charlie's going to have limited screen time, and I'm going to always be monitoring what he's watching.
Yeah.
And if he's going to throw a tantrum about me changing it, he's going to throw a tantrum. That's actually fine. He's still not going to watch the junk.
That's something. Maybe I'll leave what I was about to say for the screen time, because I've definitely noticed some battles with Navy that were not there last year, which is fine. But yeah, we should definitely do an episode.
Yeah, we should. And doing at least one of our normal activities, which we're also going to do like a day in the life, week in the life.
Yeah.
Once we're back in, but not back in as in too busy.
No.
But just like,
I think
the year begins almost.
Yeah.
I know it's February, but like once we've found ourselves again. We're
Found
gonna
our
talk about.
new routine
Yeah.
that because we are quite routine
We are.
people overall. So I think once we find our new routine and we're like happy with where that's at, we'll
Yeah.
share.
Definitely. And then, so yeah, I want to do one of our normal activities in the morning and in the afternoon, which is like bike park, dog park, a park, walking around the lake, one of those things.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Something outside.
something outside, yes. And those are the things I'm going to do every single day. Also, another thing I think that has helped me though is eating healthy again. I'm eating healthy and I am exercising every day, which I think has helped me not fall too much in the rut. Because over the holidays I was binge eating. We can actually do an episode on that.
Yeah, we should.
But yeah, so those are the things I'm going to do, and maybe we can report back.
Yeah, well, and I didn't write down my things, but essentially I just want to try get out of the house in the morning, in the afternoon, and relax on my evenings.
Yeah, good on you.
And be more, because that's where I find it hard, because then we just often, like last year, we were out every single night, basically, taking turns, sometimes together, sometimes not. So,
and when's your time together?
Yeah, and that was one thing that was really, that could be probably an episode in itself. So I guess that comes down to being more intentional with what I say yes to. But yeah, I'm excited.
Yay. To see where this goes now.
But I think also, and then I'll be done, but it is, all of this was like, it's all very gentle convictions.
Yeah, for sure.
And
but if there's major like shame and guilt about something, that's not from God.
No.
Because it's not actually how he works.
No, and it's not, I feel no shame or guilt that I sat on the couch for a week, basically. But I didn't feel good, and it didn't fill me up. So now
it's reflecting on that and being like,
and
okay,
after
God.
praying on that and being like, how I thought you wanted me to slow down, and then I don't feel good. And he was like, no, I didn't mean it like that. Yeah, finding a balance between slowing down but not too much.
Yeah. This episode's probably been a bit all over the show.
Yeah.
But this is just where we're at the moment, basically. To summarize, we were in a rut. Those are the things we were doing. We're now coming out of the rut. These are the things we're going to do. And we're excited to see now where that leads.
Yeah.
Because I am so happy to not be feeling like I did last week.
Yeah.
Even
same.
yesterday, I was like, that was such a good day.
Yeah.
Although Charlie didn't sleep until 9 p.m.
And although Percy was grumpy all day.
No, it was still a good day.
It was good.
Hope this was mildly interesting if you made your way through it all. Well done. Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk to you next week.
Yes.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.